Welcome to The Lift with Sheila Robinson Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Thanks so much, everyone, and welcome back. Temperament and the presidential election. There's been a lot of talk about temperament over these past several months as we're gearing up for these elections, and it's been a little bit frustrating on this end because as a psychologist and helper, I was just found myself screaming at the TV, well, why don't you explain to folks what temperament is and why it's so important? So that's really what this video is about, and I don't make this video with any passion, pride, or prejudice on either side. This is not a political video, it's purely an educational video, and I really want to go inside this issue of temperament and dissect it so everyone really has a thorough understanding of why it's being brought up so much and discussed during this election season. So what is temperament and why does it matter? Temperament is really, it's a core component of our foundation, the foundation of our personality. And it really boils down to how a person's emotional attitude hangs together. And before we go further, there's three important things I want you to really understand about temperament. Number one, temperament is stable over time. Temperament does not change. Personality can, but temperament does not. I want you to think about the color of your eyes or your bones, your skeleton. It's fixed and in place. More on that later. Number two, temperament is a function of nature, not nurture. Okay, your genetics and nature will dictate temperament. So you can have 4 siblings raised in the same style, in the same home, and all 4 can come out dramatically different as they evolve over time. And that's really because it's a function of nature, genetics, temperament. Next, number 3. I don't want you to get these confused. Temperament is not the same as personality. Your personality overlays your temperament, and personality it can and frequently does change over time. So someone could be a very rambunctious, high-strung 14 or 15-year-old, and then when they turn 46, by the time they get to that station in life, they may be very mellow. So I want you to think about someone gives you a set amount of ingredients to make a soup. You're not going to get any more or less over time. So how you learn to combine those ingredients and manage those ingredients can change over time, but the set amount will remain the same. So again, people's personality can change and how they manage their moods and emotion can change, but that doesn't mean that the core foundation of temperament is going to change. Let me go further and share a little story with you that will highlight more of these features of temperament. So I grew up with dogs, and at one particular time my family had 2 dogs, and one was a yellow lab. The other was a Doberman Pinscher. And one day, about 7 or 8 years old, I was in the kiddie pool, and I'm splashing around. Both of these dogs are asleep. And I get out of the pool, just playing with my friends. My friend accidentally pushed me onto the dogs. Okay, so I'm stumbling, I'm fumbling, trying to get up. So the yellow lab wakes up and is startled and kind of just, backs away. the Doberman Pinscher wakes up and is startled and nearly takes a portion of my face off within inches. So all things being relatively equal, temperament is a very excellent predictor of behavior. It really boiled down to the different temperament in those two dogs. Now, let's make things more interesting and go ahead and throw in environment. If a person is mismatched in terms of their temperament and environment, it can create a lot of stress within the system and within that person. So it can also be a perfect storm for great success or great failure. Let me illustrate this with another story. Dealt with a court-mandated client some years ago. This woman was a third-grade teacher. She had retired from the military, which is where she spent most of her time. Decided as a retirement career she wanted to teach. She ended up going berserk on one of the third graders in her classroom. And what I found in talking to her, it really boiled down to a misfit of temperament and environment. Getting to know her, if I was going to go into a combat zone, she's the one I would call. I would want her right next to me, and twice on a Sunday. She knew her stuff. She had an excellent temperament for a lot of the military duties that she was assigned, and that's why she excelled in that field. Now, even given an emergency situation, I would not trust her or hire her to watch my 3-year-old. It's a mismatch. It's a mismatch in temperament. So it really, as you're thinking about how people are paired to environments. This is why they have so many personality tests. The interviews are so important because, again, if there's a mismatch in temperament, you're really off to the races. Now, I want to bring this back full circle and plug it in to that primary topic about the presidential election. So what kind of temperament would be ideally suited for a very high stress, high profile, demanding position such as the commander-in-chief, the CEO of the United States, if you will? What you ideally want is someone with an even temperament, not easily triggered or ruffled. Great knowledge of self, self-aware, self-reflective, with a superb ability to control or inhibit intense emotion. So if we bring it back to that dog analogy, we wouldn't want a Doberman, a Doberman type temperament in the White House. Could be a recipe for disaster. If I was going for a temperament, I'm staying with the dog analogy, put my money on the German Shepherd type of temperament. Stable, loyal, strong, protective. So we're talking about matching temperament with environment, and the reason why that has been so important and well in the mix over these last few months. I hope this video helped. You're going to make your choice. This is the United States. Thank goodness we all have a right to choose. I'll see you next time.